Trump threatened to cut off all trade with Spain. Spain refused to let America use its military bases for strikes on Iran, and Trump's response was immediate. I'm quoting him here: "We're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain." Within 48 hours, the threat collapsed, the European Union closed ranks around Spain, and Trump's administration was forced to claim Spain had cooperated, while Spanish officials immediately denied any policy change. I'm Elle of House of Elle on YouTube. I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics. Here's what happened when America tried to coerce a European ally and discover that collective trade power beats unilateral threats. On Saturday, the United States and Israel launched joint military strikes against Iran. It was a very unfortunate day for all of us. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez immediately condemned the attack as violations of international law. Spain has 2 U.S. military bases on its territory, the Rota Naval Base and Moron Air Base. Both are jointly operated under bilateral agreements. When Washington requested use of these facilities for Iran operations, Madrid refused. Trump's reaction came during a White House press briefing alongside German Chancellor Merz. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent accused Spain of putting American lives at risk. Trump called Spain terrible and threatened complete trade severance. The threat appeared devastating on its surface. Spain exports olive oil, auto parts, steel, and chemicals to the USA, but Trump made a fundamental miscalculation. He threatened a member of a trade bloc that negotiates collectively. European Council President Antonio Costa called Sanchez within hours to express full solidarity. The EU reaffirmed its firm commitment to the principles of international law and the rules-based order everywhere in the world. French President Emmanuel Macron reached out separately to express European solidarity against economic coercion. European Commission Vice President Stéphane Séjourné stated explicitly, another quote here, "Any threat against a member state is by definition a threat against the EU." The Commission's trade spokesperson confirmed Brussels' stance, another quote here, "in full solidarity with all member states and is ready to act if necessary to safeguard EU interests." Here's the mechanism Trump either didn't understand or chose to ignore. The European Union has exclusive competence over trade policy. Individual member states cannot negotiate separate trade agreements. America cannot cut off all trade with Spain without cutting off trade with the entire European Union. The morning after Trump's threat, Spain's budget minister, Maria Jesus Montero, stated, another quote from her here, "We are not going to be anybody's vassals. We won't tolerate any threats and will defend our values." A very strong principled stance. Behind the public statements, Brussels had already identified the legal framework for response. The EU's Anti-Coercion Instrument defines economic coercion as situations where a third country seeks to pressure the European Union or an EU member state into making a particular choice by applying or threatening to apply measures affecting trade or investment. Trump's threat meets this definition precisely. The trade embargo was explicitly conditional on Spain changing its policy on base access. The instrument, adopted in December 2023, has never actually been deployed. It was designed for exactly this scenario: external powers using trade weapons to interfere with European sovereign decisions. The process works through qualified majority voting, 55% of member states representing 65% of the EU population. No single nation can veto action. If activated, the EU can impose tariffs, restrict services trade, ban American firms from public procurement contracts, limit foreign direct investment in strategic sectors, and even freeze intellectual property protections. These measures target America's services surplus with Europe and access to EU capital markets. The European Council on Foreign Relations published the analysis calling Trump's threat a test for how Europe reacts when pressure is applied to one of its own. They recommended Brussels make clear that deploying the instrument is not bluffing. The Commission has 4 months to examine whether coercion exists, then member states vote within 8 to 10 weeks. Response measures can take effect within 6 months total. The timeline is designed to be fast enough to deter threats before they even escalate. Spain's position strengthened hourly, basically. If you want to understand critical thinking frameworks and how to analyze power dynamics under pressure, my book, Awake: The Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Soft Lies, breaks down these patterns in detail. It's available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can get the first chapter for free in the links in the description. The same day Trump threatened Spain, the European Parliament postponed ratification of its existing U.S. trade deal. EU lawmakers cited uncertainty about whether Washington would honor the 15% tariff ceiling on European products. The deal had been negotiated just after Trump's Liberation Day tariffs, but remained unratified now. And the timing sent an unmistakable signal. If America threatens individual member states, the entire trade relationship becomes conditional. Spain represents roughly 3% of EU-US trade. The frozen deal affects hundreds of billions in annual commerce. When you've worked in economic systems long enough, you really recognize leverage points like this. The EU just demonstrated that collective bargaining power neutralizes unilateral threats. America cannot selectively punish one European nation without risking access to all of them. Trump has also repeatedly criticized Spain for refusing to meet NATO's defense spending target of 5% of GDP. Spain maintains it can meet defense needs at 2.1% of GDP, and this creates a pattern essentially. America demands policy changes, threatens economic punishment when refused, then discovers threats don't actually work against unified European resistance. By Wednesday afternoon, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt claimed Spain had agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Álvarez responded immediately on Cadena Ser radio and said, "Our position on the use of the bases, on the war in the Middle East, on the bombardment of Iran has not changed at all. The contradiction reveals the outcome here. Trump threatened total economic severance. Spain maintained its position. Europe mobilized institutional support, and America walked back the threat while claiming victory." Sanchez delivered a televised address comparing the Iran strikes to playing Russian roulette with the destiny of millions. He referenced Iraq, and I'm quoting here, "23 years ago, another U.S. administration dragged us into a war in the Middle East, which unleashed the greatest wave of insecurity that our continent has suffered since the fall of the Berlin Wall." The speech positions Spain as defending international law against American military adventurism. That moral framing made it impossible for other European leaders to abandon Madrid without appearing complicit in violations of the rule-based order they claim to uphold. For more on how American institutional credibility is collapsing across multiple dimensions, check out the video on your screen right now about how the USA is entering its worst stagflation since the 1970s. Spain's IBEX 35 stock index initially fell on Trump's threat, then reversed to trade 1.6% higher as EU solidarity became clear. Markets recognize that collective European trade policy makes individual member states' punishment structurally impossible. So what's going to happen next? America just demonstrated that it will threaten allies with economic coercion to force compliance with military operations of dubious legality. Europe demonstrated that its institutional architecture can neutralize those threats when member states maintain unity. The precedent here is what matters the most. If Trump had successfully isolated Spain, every European capital would know that American trade access comes conditional on military cooperation. The Anti-Coercion Instrument exists precisely to prevent that dynamic. The exodus from American assets is accelerating. Millions are leaving the USA as confidence in American institutions erodes. The video on your screen right now covers that trend in detail. Spain essentially stood on principle. The EU stood with Spain. Trump's threat collapsed against collective power. When individual nations bargain alone, larger economies dominate. But when they bargain collectively, the mathematics change. 27 economies representing 450 million people create different leverage than any single member state. For more context on how these escalating tensions are affecting American markets, see the video on your screen right now about how $1 trillion were wiped from US markets in a single day as a result of this instability. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.